Hi there, esteemed audience, and welcome to another episode of Middle Grade Ninja. I'm your host, Rob Kent, author of Banneker Bones and the Giant Robot Bees, which you can get as a paperback, an audiobook, and the ebook is free. Free to download whenever you're listening to this, whenever you're watching this, because who loves you? Rob Kent loves you from the Middle Grade Ninja podcast. As always, check out interviews with thousands of literary agents, editors, authors, all the best people at middlegradeninja.com. Plus, the entire back catalog of the show. What are you waiting for? Well, finish listening to this episode and then head to middlegradeninja.com. So tonight, my guest is none other than Carrie Seim, author of the new book, Horse Girl. Carrie, how are you this evening?
Hi, Rob. I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for making time. I am absolutely thrilled to chat with you because there is just 100 different roads we could go down right off the bat, because it seems like you've done a little bit of everything.
I've been down a few roads, Rob.
Usually what I ask people to do, because I want to keep friends in the industry, I never summarize another person's biography or another person's book. So if you would give esteemed audience kind of an overview of Carrie Seim, so we'll go from there.
Okay. Hello, esteemed audience. Pleasure to meet you all. So I grew up in Nebraska, which is where my new book, Horse Girl, is set. And my very first job out of college was with the Sundance Film Institute in Los Angeles. So I ended up moving from the Midwest to the big city of LA, and I had this incredible job working for the International Writing Program of Sundance. And my job was to help organize conferences or workshops between international screenwriters and US independent screenwriters. So we would put on these one-week workshops, travel around the world, and it was just an amazing first job, but also kind of a bad first job, because what's ever going to live up to that? You know, it was just, I was totally spoiled. But I did realize that I also wanted to be doing my own writing and creating, and not just facilitating others' writing. So at the same time, I started taking classes at the Groundlings, which is this famous comedy theater in Los Angeles. And you may know, like, a lot of the Saturday Night Live cast members come from the Groundlings. So Will Ferrell and Maya Rudolph and Kristen Wiig and some of the newer cast members, Mikey Day and Heidi Gardner, they all came from the Groundlings. And so I knew that is where I wanted to go and learn. And that's where I learned to create sort of like wonderfully weird characters and create dialogue and scenes that were crackling, because when you're performing in front of a live audience, like, you know right away if something is killing it or something's totally bombing. So it was this incredible education and an incredible place to meet other like-minded, funny, creative weirdos, which are my people. And one night at the Groundlings, in the audience was a scout for Saturday Night Live. And he came to my show. I was performing in the Sunday company, which you kind of have to go through a bunch of classes and auditions, and you finally get into the Sunday company. And you put on a live show every Sunday night, which is a lot like Saturday Night Live. And you have to write your own sketches and get your own costumes and direct it and stage it. And it's so much fun, but so much pressure and work.
Are you doing that over a week, or how long do you have to?
Yeah, we'd have a week. So we would have a workshop, I believe it was Wednesday nights, and you would put on your sketches that you'd written for the director, and we'd spend hours that night going through everybody's, like, pitched their own sketches, and the director would pick this, and this to be in the show that Sunday. And so you'd have, like, Thursday to do rewrites and Friday to get your costumes and cast, and then we'd have rehearsal. The rehearsal was really Sunday day, and then we would do it Sunday night. So it was trial by fire. And you learned to be able to do the entire creative process and be responsible for all of it and do it quickly, and which is such a gift and so rare. It's actually a little bit like writing a book in some ways. But anyhow, it was fabulous. It was a wonderful experience, super high pressure, but it taught me so much. And anyhow, so one night there was a scout, and after the show, I had no idea who he is, no idea there was a scout in the audience. And this guy comes up to me and gives me his card, and I was like, "Hello, Carrie." I'm so-and-so from Saturday Night Live. Would you like to fly to New York and audition for Lorne Michaels? Wow. And I was like, yes. But the worst part is that he invited me and 2 other people to meet for drinks after the show to talk about, what he liked in the show. But I couldn't go because my director we had to get notes after the show. And I was so young and naive that I didn't realize, like, maybe I could skip notes. But I was like, no, we're supposed to do notes. I better be there. And by the time we got to the bar with the cast, like, the guy was gone. And I thought, oh my God, I just blew it. But indeed, he sent a plane ticket and a few of us went. Spoiler alert, I did not get cast on Saturday Night Live, or that would be in my bio. But I did get pulled aside by the TSA for having wigs and wig heads in my carry-on that looked like that I was bringing headphones in. But
you had specific wigs just to try out different characters while you were auditioning for Lorne Michaels?
You had to bring, I think it was between 3 and 5 characters for the audition. And so of course I brought my wigs. Like, girl needs her wigs for the characters. And it's really it's absolutely terrifying but really cool. So they put you in the hair and makeup room, like the real Saturday Night Live hair and makeup room. You wait in the real dressing rooms of real cast members for your turn to audition. Then they bring you down to hair and makeup. And what's really intimidating is that you can hear over the speaker in the room the audition of the people going right before you. And you hear if anyone's laughing or not. And Lorne Michaels is, like, extraordinarily tough and he often doesn't laugh in auditions. But Tina Fey was there, and I remember her laughing at my audition. I was, like, so grateful to her for being there because it's so terrifying. Oh, and Andy Samberg went audition literally right before me, and he was absolutely killing it. He was getting all kinds of laughs, but I got a few laughs too. And
followed Andy Samberg. Oh my God!
And he was on the plane with me too. Yeah, he was on the plane. He was a character. But yeah.
How long does the audition last? Are we talking a couple of days? Just the one day?
Well, just for that initial audition, it's like 5 minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes tops. But they spend hours in the green room, and you don't know when they're going to call you. So it's I wish I had known this. When I auditioned, I was so green. I had never done a commercial. I had never done anything. Nothing on TV, no commercials. So I was really young. I hadn't really auditioned professionally. So I was just, improvising. But they leave you in the green for quite a while, hours. And I had no idea when someone was going to come. And it's so hard to keep your energy up. And I learned later from my friend Michaela Watkins, who auditioned and did get on the show. She's a wonderful actor and all kinds of things, like Casual and The Unicorn on CBS. She's a star of that, one of the stars. Anyhow, she said she meditated in the green room before the audition, which I wish I had, like, that was a smart idea. That would have been a cool idea. But anyway.
Yeah, just block out that Samberg audition and that makes sense.
But I did get from that a lot of opportunities in the TV world in terms of both acting and writing. So I was cast for a couple of episodes of Inside Amy Schumer, which I actually got because I had submitted a writing packet and she liked my writing packet. But I didn't, she'd already booked her writers for the show, but she cast me in a few episodes, which was really nice. And I got to do some fun characters. And I wrote for a show, an MTV2 show. And then Nickelodeon came to the Groundlings and asked a couple of us to create a live show for their young up-and-coming talent, their kid talent, their teen, tween talent. And it was a lot like creating a Saturday Night Live type show where we wrote sketches for the kids and taught them improv. And I actually went to the Nickelodeon costume warehouse and picked out costumes for all of them. And we put on a live show for all the showrunners of Nickelodeon so that they could see this talent and how fun and funny they could be, which was an incredibly fun, creative experience for me. And I got experience working with kids which I loved. They're so wonderful. They're so up for anything. They're so willing to play. It was fantastic. And because I wrote that on that live show for a couple of years, a development person came to the shows, and she actually submitted me to write for a TV show on Nickelodeon. So I wrote for a couple of they did these special variety shows, and I wrote for a couple of those specials, which was like a combination of all the cast members from various shows. And we did a variety show, and kind of they all got to come together and be in these. We did like a Valentine special, summer special. So yeah. And like, okay, everyone who needs a water break, bathroom break now.
We're doing great. It's a podcast. People are in the bathroom as they're listening to us. They're good.
But I think this is true of many writers and many creative people, is that you have this winding road that only makes sense later. Certainly doesn't make sense as you're going down it. But the through line is storytelling, right? So that I have done a gazillion different jobs, but the through line is storytelling. I've always been trying to tell a story and like drag people in to listen to it, basically, whatever form it is.
Is that from childhood all the way on, or?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was always writing stories. I was always scripting plays, and I would round up my younger sister, the neighborhood kids, and I was like a little, the Tannenbaum, I'm forgetting her first name, the Gwyneth Paltrow Tannenbaum girl, Margot Tannenbaum. Like, I was putting on these neighborhood plays and forcing everyone to be in them, and entering like young author contests, and I founded a newspaper on my blog. Like, I just, probably insufferable, but I went for it. And that newspaper paid off, because I actually ended up, so after all the comedy writing, I got, this is so embarrassing, but I got cast as a dating correspondent on the Tyra Banks show, which was a talk show that it's obviously not on for many, many years.
I remember the Tyra Banks show. What does a dating correspondent do?
So I was representing Los Angeles. There were 4 of us from different cities around the country, and we were the single girls going on dates and keeping diaries, and then coming back on the show to report our funny tales of dating. It was very Sex in the City. Although I don't know if it was a, am I allowed to say that? I'm so sorry if I'm not.
What's the word, sex? Yeah, I think the podcast listeners can handle that word.
All right, SEX in the City. And now that I've called attention to it even more. But after the Tyra Banks show, dating correspondent, I got hired to be a dating correspondent and a writer at the New York Post. And then from there, I started just writing all kinds of funny features and covering, fashion, art, lifestyle trends, all the like hard-hitting news stuff. And I went on to write. I freelanced for the New York Times and the Atlantic and Architectural Digest. And again, it's just telling stories. And often this focus of my journalism or my feature writing are the characters, right? The interesting people I get to interview. So I've kind of gone back and forth between comedy writing and journalism writing and performing, and we haven't even gotten to the books.
Oh, right. You mean like Horse Girl, which is available Tuesday for esteemed audience listening today, or if you're listening in the future, esteemed audience, and it's well past March 30th, good news, the book's already available. Go check out Horse Girl by Carrie Seim.